Research in Motion's Blackberry 10 OS will be make or break for the struggling company. That's what analysts from IDC and Forresters said when we talked to them ahead of the January 30th launch. Still, the long-delayed operating system impressed them both.
It's not your father's Blackberry. There's a whole different user interface, a whole different way to experience, and it's a lot more, say, intuitive, a lot more seamless than what we've seen from Blackberries in the past.
One of the things they're really focused on is the ability to bring all of your notifications and emails and tweets and all that kind of stuff into a single inbox, and they call it the hub.
It also took me a little while to get used to was, there's a lack of a home button on the screen, on the device itself. Usually if you pick up an iPhone, an Android, a Windows phone, even previous Blackberries, you press that home button to get you back to that main page.
While there's not much debate among analysts that the company's hardware is solid, there is concern about the lack of apps for the platform. While RIM has held portathons, or events where developers ported apps from other mobile OSs to Blackberry 10, RIM is still a long way from offering the likes of iOS and Android.
Where RIM is playing catch-up and will be playing catch-up is in the number of applications available. So they update those numbers periodically, but when you got 775,000 or 784, whatever the number is today in the Apple App Store, we're headed to 1 million there pretty quickly, and we don't have anywhere near that, not even 100,000 yet in the Blackberry App Store. So apps, I say, are the place where you're going to see the biggest sort of disparity or difference in how the product works.
Enterprises might be quick to go with Blackberry 10 because of the perception and reality that RIM makes some of the most secure devices.
This is clearly the gold standard, for a lot of enterprise users. Put it to you this way: if the President of the United States entrusts his phone to be a Blackberry, I think it's going to be good enough, for a lot of other folks out there, considering, the sensitivity of his materials. So I think this will be just as good for enterprise users out there.
RIM still has both the perception and the reality of a much more controlled environment, and this balance thing again helps the IT control the business side while the personal side stays untouched. Whereas and some of the MDM vendors, mobile device management vendors, offer that as well, but nobody else offers it in the OS the way RIM does. So when you think generally about RIM's advantage in the enterprise market, they still preserve some of that. However, because they were so late to market, because there was iOS, because there was Android, we have this massive upsurge of these mobile device management companies that provide pretty good security solutions in every case, and in some cases very locked down solutions, like Good Technology, for example, with a very locked down solution. Mobile Iron, AirWatch, Afaria, with good, highly secure solutions. So RIM's advantage there has been declining because of the growth in these other providers.
So where's the market headed? IDC is predicting that Windows Phone will overtake BlackBerry by the end of 2013 as the number 3 mobile OS worldwide. IDC predicts that BlackBerry will grow the slowest of all mobile OSs through 2016, while Windows Phone will see explosive growth.
I think talking to the carriers out there, they say, Apple's important to us, but we don't want that to be the only platform that we have out there. And they say the same thing about Android, okay? So that says to me, yes, there's room for a third, and we've heard a lot of carriers be very vocal about, we want to have a third platform. Some have been very vocal about, we want it to be Windows Phone. Others have said, we want BlackBerry to be, that number 3. So that says to me there is room for a third and a fourth. But there's also room for a fifth, because if you take a look at some other places in the world, particularly within emerging markets, Linux is so popular, it's so important for a lot of smaller companies and smaller markets to say, we want to have a stake as to where we're heading next.
Blackberry 10 launches on January 30th in New York City, and you can check back for our coverage. In Boston, Nick Barber, IDG News Service.